Hi guys, my name is Cindy and I did my presentation on Thomas Hopkins Gallaudet. Gallaudet was born December 12, 1787 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. From the beginning, he always had a passion for education and was really smart because at age 15 he left home and went to Yale University and graduated 2 years later. He got both his bachelor's and his master's degrees from Yale. He then became a traveling salesperson and was traveling around the country and came across rural areas where children did not have teachers because teachers did not want to stay in those areas to teach the children. So Gallaudet traveled around, and as he traveled, he began to teach them history, geography, the Bible, and other subjects that these kids would need. After a few years of doing that, he then went to theological school and became a minister, so he could teach the Bible not only to children, but to others that he came across. One year, he was up visiting his family who had moved to Hartford, Connecticut, and while he was up there, he saw children playing by themselves, and then a young girl who was off by the side, not really getting to play with anybody. So Gallaudet went out and was trying to figure out why nobody was playing with this young girl, and he found out that she was deaf. And so Gallaudet started writing like words such as hat in the dirt and then pointing to his hat so that she could see and understand what he was talking about. And the young girl was all excited because she understood him. This intrigued Gallaudet because nobody at that point had really done anything to teach the deaf. And so he started investigating ways to teach the deaf. And through this young girl named Alice Cogswell, her father sent Gallaudet over to Europe to find ways to teach his daughter. He came across a school and he started learning from them. However, they didn't want to teach him too much because they made him promise not to share it with anyone. And obviously he was planning on bringing what he learned back to the U.S. So then he met a man by the name of Laurent Clerc, who was a deaf instructor at a school in Paris. And so he traveled to Paris to learn sign language. After a few months of being there, he was ready to come back, but he didn't feel like he was 100% qualified to come back and teach the students. So he convinced Clerc to come back with him, and together they founded the American School for the Deaf in Connecticut. Then, after they had a few students come through, they really grew into one of the first deaf schools in America, because prior to this there was no deaf schools. Gallaudet eventually married one of his students, and together they had 8 children. And his legacy continued through his children. His son Edward opened the Columbia University for the Deaf in Washington, D.C., and it was signed into charter by President Abraham Lincoln. The school later on was changed to be named Gallaudet University in honor of Thomas Gallaudet. He is known for being somebody who advocated for the deaf so that they would have equal opportunities to learn, as well as creating a language that is still in use today among the deaf. Without Thomas Gallaudet, there would not be a lot of languages and ways for the deaf to communicate or even get an education. He also believed that it was important for the deaf to have a way to learn and was willing to go and find that. His legacy is also known through the fact that he simply wanted to teach and wanted a way for students to learn and have a way to get an education even though nobody else wanted to teach them. Throughout his life, Gallaudet suffered from health problems, and critics say that that was a reason he probably should not have traveled like he did around the country or even over to Europe. However, I think that even though he had these health issues, did not let it get the best of him, and he used it as a reason to not be stuck in one place. He wanted to see the world and teach those less fortunate, and ultimately do something to help the community. Thanks for watching. Bye.